Hi everybody, and welcome back to Let's Play Tokyo Xanadu EX Plus. So last time out, we finished the side story for Chapter 2, featuring Hiragi and Sora. And so this part, we're starting off with Chapter 3, we're starting a new chapter off today. And we've got a nerd. So yeah, we're being introduced immediately to a new character. And this guy's pretty much going to be the focus of, he's pretty much going to be the focus for this chapter. Something else to mention as well with him is that we actually saw him briefly during, I think, Chapter 1. He was just wandering around, wandering through town while we were getting on with the main story. Which is something I kind of like about Tokyo Xanadu. That they do show you off like the characters that are going to be a big part of the plot to come. They kind of show them off earlier, so when you go back and play it again, you can kind of notice, these guys, the guys who would become important in later parts of the story. You kind of notice them much earlier. So yeah, apparently this guy isn't going to school because he's a prick, and he's a bit of a computer genius, and he's going to be the main focus for this plot. The thing that he ends up making kind of becomes the main focus for this story. Chapter 3, Word of God. So we'll see what happens. This is actually the longest chapter. This actually takes a really... this really does take quite a long time to get through, and it's kind of how it goes with Tokyo Xanadu, is that, the first couple of chapters are, relatively short. You can get through them pretty quickly. And then from 3 onwards, they kind of really start to lengthen, and they get longer and longer and longer. So yeah, basically, apparently this girl got a boyfriend because she she was messing about with an app, which told her that she would get a boyfriend soon, apparently. So that sounds dodgy. Sounds like a load of bullshit. So we'll find out what's going on. And so yeah, we're setting up this bit fairly early on. Just say it. So yeah, it's the God's app. And it can solve all problems, apparently. But yeah, we'll find out a lot more about that later on. But we've got a bit of an early part of the story to get through first, before we get on to like kind of this is the first one which kind of, I think, from what I remember the first two anyway, it's the first chapter which kind of has like a little introductory section which is tangentially related to the main plot of Chapter 3, but doesn't really get into it until after certain events start to happen. So yeah, the God's app is basically a fortune-telling app, as well as being able to enter a question. Okay. So yeah, that's the question stuff. It's kind of bog standard kind of advice, which is kind of just generic and general advice, which isn't really all that useful, to be honest. But there you go. So yeah, it's kind of a daily fortune telling app mixed in with some general being able to answer questions, which has become very popular in the school apparently. Yep, so it's become kind of the fad of the school, and it's getting super popular. So yeah, let's see. I'm sure that nothing is going to go wrong. Like, at all. I like that. Kind of rumbles Ryota's kind of plan immediately. A load of girls are downloading it, huh? So Ryota's kind of like, if I get it, maybe I can break the ice a lot easier. So yeah, I kind of, once again, it's, you know, it does a good job of continuing Ryota's, you know, of continuing with Ryota's kind of character and getting us getting to know him a bit more, which I kind of like. Apparently the rumor is also that the Gods app is developed by someone who goes to our school. Can you tell who that fucking is? So yeah, we'll find out more about that a bit later on. For now, other stuff is going to take place. Yes, and this stuff as well with sorry, with Toa going off to the computer lab to sort some stuff out. This is also a pretty relevant part of the of Chapter 3's plot, which we won't find out about until a fair bit later on. But once again, I like how it's done. It's kind of sets up Toa's kind of character a little bit, that she's working super hard, whilst also giving us a little bit of foreshadowing for the main plot of Chapter 3 later on. So it's pretty cool. Of course. Shit. Sure, he's not happy. Sorry. But yeah, I really like that. And she does kind of bring up a good point that, you know, we were only in Chapter 2 were we getting, you know, punished for working a bit too hard and doing part-time jobs a bit too much. And Ko has not learnt any of his lessons, apparently. And again, this is something else which kind of highlights is kind of more creates more of the world kind of around the story, basically, where we in the last chapter we met Shion. There you go. We met Shion, who is of course a member of Spiker, one of the that idol group that we got a CD from her, and basically we're continuing that. So, you know, Ryota is now going to they've got a concert at Across Tower, and so he's going to be going tonight. It's their 3rd anniversary concert, and so Ryota's going to be going to that. And once again, it kind of sets up kind of the you know, other characters within the world, and kind of, you know, because Shion will be a major character much later on in the game, so it's kind of cool that they introduce her and kind of keep her relevant within the plot this early on, which I kind of like. My apologies. Oh, Ko, you're being a bit of an arsehole there, man. But anyway. So anyway. Okay. So he's going to go to the concert tonight. And of course, nothing's ever going to go wrong. So let's see what happens. A notification from the Gods app. What's that say? Okay, let's see. Your luck's about to zoom to a halt. Beware or you might find yourself in a traffic accident. And now the Gods app has turned into apparently the Devil app. I have to be honest, I do really like this the design they do for the character here, where he gives out a bad fortune. It's pretty creepy looking. I actually like it. But anyway. So yeah, and something which is kind of foreshadowing a little bit as well is that the background is very purpley red, which is also very similar to the Eclipse and the gates that we go into to get into the Eclipse. So yeah. However, it doesn't really mean anything yet. I mean, it's just a stupid app, like Ko says. I mean, come on, it's just a stupid app. It's not as if, you know, Ryota's gonna get into a serious traffic accident and get seriously injured. Of course not. It's just a, you know, just a silly app. So let's just forget about it and go enjoy the concert tonight. Rion. Shit. I got it wrong. It's not Shion, it's Rion. What's Shion from? Oh, right. Shion's from that time I got reincarnated as a slime. That's where that's from. Right, okay. Fuck. They are similar, I suppose. But yeah, Rion. So yeah. So now that that's done with, we've now pretty much got our spare time before we have to go to Ko's part-time job. And so, because it's New Game Plus, we get 3 of those. But what we're going to do now is we're going to leave the school. Oh, hello. Sorry, I'm meeting up with Sora already. Yeah, so I guess this kind of scene is supposed to kind of, it does a little bit of setting up to the fact that that Sora and Ko are kind of, Sora and Chiaki are kind of back to normal, which, because of Plus's additional side story, is not really needed as much. But I suppose it is needed to kind of, so that Ko kind of knows that, you know, Chiaki and Sora are back to normal. Hey! Another new character. This is Shio Takahata. And so, yeah. Basically, I won't say anything too much about him yet. He's someone we're going to see a bit later. I think he comes in chapter 4 or 5. So, we've got a while to go yet. And he's, I guess, kind of a typical anime kind of convention as well, really, where he's the dude who looks kind of like, you know, who looks kind of like a, you know, looks like a delinquent and kind of has that reputation, but really is like a super nice, sweet guy. That's done a lot in anime. What was the yeah, one of the main characters in Senryu Girl was like that. And yeah, it's a common trope that is used quite a lot. And so yeah, Sora's like, well, he doesn't seem that bad. I mean, he was nice and polite. So yeah, maybe it's just rumors. Yeah, Ko's kind of like, well, maybe it's just rumors. Well, whatever. Yeah, we won't see anything about that guy. We won't see anything of him for a good for a long time yet. We've got a chapter and a side chapter to go through first, so let's get going on that, shall we, before we start talking about him. So they've got to go. Time for Karate Club. So yeah. So now we've got our spare time to kill before we go to our till we go to our job. We've got some things to do. So for this one, we've got character stories that we can do, like little social link stuff. We've also got some side quests, and we've also got a couple of optional eclipses for us to go through too. So yeah, and from chapter 3 onwards is where we get the search function added to our get the search function added to our phone. So basically this allows us to go into areas and basically see if an eclipse is nearby. Basically it will react, and then once the signal is built up enough, then you'll be able to find where the eclipse is and be able to deal with it. Sorry about that. Again. Time to get going. So yeah, that's another side quest for us to do. So we're here, and we've the Echo app is already working. It's already located an eclipse with 17% strength. And Ko is actually relatively, uses his brain a little bit here, and lets Hiragi know about it. Know that he's found that his app is going off in this certain place, so that she can come along and help him out. Which, you know, better than running off on his own and not knowing what the fuck he's doing. So yeah, it basically works out like, basically there's a percentage which goes up in the top left hand corner. Nope. And once it reaches 100%, there we go. You press L1 and then that opens the gateway and you can go into it. Now this is the tutorial one, so it's pretty easy to find, and it's a really easy eclipse as well. And yeah, these optional eclipses are different from the main eclipses. Their colours are a bit different, so they're kind of yellow. So you know, they're not quite as dangerous. They're always a bit more kind of straightforward than the main dungeons that we go through. They're pretty short and pretty easy to go through, and that's what Hiragi's kind of explaining here. That basically these eclipses are the easier ones, of a lower difficulty than our main eclipses, which have red gates. So let's go clear it out. So when you want to head in, you basically summon Sora over, and basically all three of us go in together. And yeah, at least they acknowledged the fact that they pulled her out of a club, which is kind of nice. There's a powerful S-tier greed lurking in this labyrinth, so let's quickly defeat it. Okay. So yeah, there we go. And this is going to be our first optional Eclipse. So join me next time for the next part of Tokyo Xanadu EX Plus, when we're going to go through the optional Eclipse. And we've also got an Eclipse to go through, which is going to be exclusive for New Game Plus. So I'll see you next time for the next part of Tokyo Xanadu EX Plus, when we'll be going through our first optional Eclipse. See you next time.